We are live.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning, depending on where you are. Victor?
Hi. We'll start in 1 or 2 minutes. Just testing now our connection, our stream.
Okay. So it's top of the hour, and I suggest we start.
Can I start?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, brought to you with collaboration in our partner, Saiwan company. If you are unfamiliar, Saiwan has been a long-standing business partner, first with IBM, and now with HCL, with deep expertise in implementing, supporting, and training on the Domino platform. But last years, Saiwan experts have been broadening their skills in IT management, and today they will share insights on HCL BigFix with us. As always, in our joint sessions, we will only discuss topics that have been filtered through the lens of Saiwan experience. If you have any questions during the session, feel free to put them to the chat, please. And let me introduce the head of Saiwan, Vladislav Tatarintsev. Vladislav,
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Victor. Again, everybody, welcome. And we will start our webinar related to HCL BigFix. So, when we start normally talking about BigFix, we ask clients and how do you do patching? So feel free to express your experience in chat because it will help us. And how do you deploy software? How many IT people you have in total? And maybe after COVID, how many in-persons people or employees of your companies are working remotely? And whether or not you are doing security scans in your company. So if you can answer this in chat, this will help us. So yeah, we will appreciate your feedback. And let's jump to the topic. So in today's world, IT people, they are multitask people. So we are helping users with their desktop issues. We help desk to solve different problems. We need to install software because the software versions are coming out, each month. We need to solve problems. We need to do patching, license audits. There are also VIP people, and there is a lot of other things. And we need to improve our experience because we as IT people have to learn new stuff. And there is a company, HCL, and the product BigFix, which is, according to Gartner, is one of the leaders in endpoint management. Endpoint is a system where we can install an agent and we can remotely manage it. So by management, we can assume we can deploy software, we can configure and update software, we do patching from security point of view, and also we can analyze also vulnerabilities in our network, in our servers, workstations, third-party tools. So this is what BigFix does. And in the lower part of the screen, you see supported. So BigFix is supporting more than 100 operating systems, including Linux, Unix, AIX, macOS, and also mobile operating system like Android and iOS. Yeah, you know that there are several regulars that already in place in Europe. So idea behind these regulars is to improve cyber protection of companies, because previously a lot of companies were reluctant to do something to protect their infrastructure, and as a result a lot of hacks happened across the world because people were not paying enough attention to the subject. So as a result of this, European Union and also in other continents, there are similar regulars that define that people need to do in cyber security area particular actions. So we will come to this later. And yeah, the question is, can someone hack me? So what are the possible options? So, and if yes, then how this will happen? Because if we know how, we can do something, we can protect ourselves. And actually there are two options: is cross fingers and do nothing, which is a bad option. And the second option is to deploy HCL BigFix and get analytics basically under 1 day. Of course, if it is a production deployment with many hundreds of servers and workstations, it will take a little bit more to deploy BigFix, but generally this can be deployed under 2 days, and pilot can be deployed more or less in 1 day. Yeah, and there is a lot of vulnerabilities that are uncovered by security experts worldwide. There is a site called CVE Reports, and according to this site, each month approximately 2,500 vulnerabilities are uncovered. So during the week, it's close to 500 vulnerabilities. And if you take a look at the lower right corner, the average score is 7.6, which means that this vulnerability can be easily implemented, so exploited, and you may get quite high access. So basically, quite easily you can get root access or administrator access of a remote system. So that means that, yeah, quality of software is as it is now. So what we need to do, we need to predict and understand where and which computers endpoints can be hacked. One more problem that we would like to pay your attention is ransomware. So in previous years, a lot of companies were hit by ransomware attacks. So for example, in India, 300 banks in country were shut down by ransomware attack. So imagine how much money you lose in 1 day if bank is not working. And if you multiply with 300, you will get approximate amount how much you lose in 1 day from 300 banks. As well, there are also other known vendors were hit by ransomware. And according to research, from 71% of companies who were affected, 72% paid a ransom to get their data back. Because to recover a particular server, it takes an enormous amount of time, even if you have backups. So unfortunately, a lot of companies decide to pay than to recover the data. And according to materials from KNOW-B4, you see the trend that for example, in 5 years from now, or in 6 years from now, the amount of ransomware will basically triple, or it will reach 4 times more than it is now. So, and of course, the weakest element of this chain is human. So people are clicking some unknown links. They're trying to launch some unknown attachments, and as a result, computer may be just encrypted. Yeah, and what we can do to mitigate our risks. So there are several solutions in the market, like Microsoft SCCM. So you may try to use it, but there are several concerns I see. Is it's quite expensive. It does not have a rich UI, so a lot of things you need to do in different parts of the solution. Last year, the Linux support was removed, so it's desupported. So you cannot patch Linuxes while Linuxes run 99.99% of internet. So we can't imagine a company without Linux. And there are other limitations. For example, a large number of ports. So from security point of view, if your solution is using a range of ports and it changes from version to version, then it's quite challenging to use this software. As you know, there was a CrowdStrike event all over the world. So untested patch or untested version was rolled out to users, which brought down a lot of airplanes, a lot of different banks were affected. And the reason that this software was not just tested, which is strange, but it really happened. So in case of BigFix, it's different. Any patch that is released by Microsoft, or for example Linux, Red Hat, or Oracle, wherever, it's tested quite quickly. So if we take a look at the Microsoft security line, it's under 24 hours. So you will get from BigFix Microsoft patches that are tested not only by Microsoft, but also by BigFix team. So they're doing a double testing, and potentially they may notice that some patches are doing something wrong. So you will get always tested stuff, which is really important, and it's part of the service. If we are not sufficient with double testing, we can make it even triple. So we can decide that, for example, in the very beginning, the patches are applied to test servers, then after 1 week to pre-production servers, and then after 2 weeks, if nothing bad happens, we will apply the same patches to production environment. In this case, we're doing even triple stage testing, and I think with this approach, we're quite safe. And BigFix allows also to remove, to do a rollback of a patch. So if after 2 weeks or 2 months we realize that this patch is doing something wrong, we don't need to remotely log into the system. We can just issue a command to uninstall particular patch from whether one machine or 10,000 machines. So we don't care. So it's also cool stuff. Also, BigFix is integrated with security scanners like Qualys, like Rapid7 and Tenable. So you can scan your environment and report from these security scanners. You can import into BigFix. So you will know which of your servers are vulnerable, and then you will can take action. If you have Red Hat, there is a little bit of hassle, so you need to activate each Red Hat, and only then the machine can get patches. If you are using BigFix, you can activate Red Hat updates on a server, and all your Red Hat's machines will receive patches, which is also reduces load on IT. And if you recall, 2 years ago, before Christmas, there was a Log4j vulnerability which allow a remote hacker to delete information from a server. And a lot of the whole IT world was shocked whether we have this vulnerability or we don't have, so nobody knew. And instead of joining, people at home and spending Christmas, IT people were searching whether the system are vulnerable. So BigFix released two patches. One patch was scanning the infrastructure and was able to identify which machines are vulnerable to Log4j. The second patch was able, without upgrading of the version of Log4j, just change configuration, so we close this security hole, because not always we need to upgrade to new version, because sometimes it's not possible, but we can change configuration. And again, wherever large you have your infrastructure, BigFix can scan and do a lot of stuff automatically, and we will talk about this a little bit later also. So in this screen, you see a web console of BigFix. So on the left side, you see potential vulnerabilities, or let's say patches that need to be applied to exactly this environment. So it does not show you all vulnerabilities in the world. It says that, yes, there is machines in your infrastructure which which are vulnerable, and it says exactly which report is which report you can read about it. So you can click, if you see this CVID column, you can click on it and you will open a report about this vulnerability. You can always see, for example, in this screen, patch severity. You see that there are only, let's say, 3 critical patches that need to be applied to your infrastructure. There are more or less 35 important, and so it automatically categorizes the severity of all patches need to be applied. And most important, that BigFix scans not only operating system, but also all third-party software. Because in Skype, in Zoom, in even Notepad++, there could be vulnerabilities. And BigFix is able to detect it and will say, okay, there are 5 computers with, for example, with Notepad++ that need to be patched. And you can do it manually. For example, in this screen, we are selecting one patch. We click deploy, and that's it. So if this patch is relevant to 100 computers, 100 computers will be automatically patched. So there are plenty of options when we apply a patch. Do we need to restart it? Do we need to apply a patch, for example, on Sunday morning? Or we need to download it in advance? So it's really, really enterprise software. It was on the market for more than quarter of century. And yes, there is a lot of enterprise features. One more thing that BigFix does is a license audit. So sooner or later, you might receive a letter from a particular vendor that they would like to verify whether you are using software right way with a proper amount. And the report that BigFix does and prepares for you, it is trusted by all vendors and by all audit companies. So all large audit companies are accepting report of BigFix. And also BigFix can help to reduce costs on licenses, because in addition to report where it is installed and how many versions of particular software is installed, it can also say how frequently it is used. So let's imagine we have 5 Adobe Photoshop licenses purchased, and let's assume it's quite not the cheapest product. And we can, after 1 year, identify that only 2 employees are using this all the day long. But 3 people just installed, maybe they spend 5 minutes, maybe they even have not run it at all. But this report will show you that next year, when you renew your subscription, you need only 2 licenses. So it really saves a lot of money for companies. And the bigger you are, the more money it will save. If you're using some remote software like TeamViewer or something else, it can also help you, because inside BigFix there is a really cool remote control, and we will talk about it. For Domino administrators, we can do also a good stuff. So first, we can install Notes client and prepare it to use. So for example, we can roll out a Notes client. We can, after installation, copy config file, and when user runs a new installation, it will ask only for a password, because the rest will be automatically configured. If you are using HCL Notes, it can also help you to upgrade clients. So in this case, it will back up all the configuration, will back up all the needed files, and will remove nodes completely, install a fresh installation of HCL nodes, and will restore the files. So with this approach, you will get a new client without upgrading one client on top of the other, which is not the best practice. And with this case, you can upgrade large infrastructures with the help of BigFix. You can also leverage the functionality of BigFix called App Store, or offer. For example, we would like to offer our users something new, but it's not something that we're going to roll out to everybody. We are testing this. So in this case, each user has an app store, and for particular users, we can say, hey, do you want to use Notes 14 or, for example, new Outlook? And only particular people will have this offer. They will use it for a month, will provide their feedback. If everything is fine, we can then decide that we make decision to roll out this version. And the awesome thing about BigFix that many competitors does not have is an awesome feedback. On the left bottom corner, you see this persons, like completed, pending, restart, completed. So when you give a task to BigFix, it always provides you with the status, what the system is doing. For example, I'm downloading the patches, I'm copying files, I'm installing patching, I'm waiting for restart, because only after restart, for example, some patch will be applied. So you're always in control. So you will never, because a lot of other vendors, they do something and people say, why the system is not applying my patches? And with BigFix, you don't have this problem because reporting and reporting back is just awesome. And yeah, as I mentioned, we can offer particular versions to client, to our users, and it's runs with a really, really small agent that consumes less than 2% of CPU. And this agent is, yeah, installing everything. It's gathering all information and reporting to the server. And yeah, maybe I didn't mention it yet, but this solution is completely on-prem. So it does not require any clouds and nothing. It's fully installed in your infrastructure, so nothing will leave your company network. So, which is important. With BigFix, we can also predict if some computers will die. Yeah, because new computers have a smart system, which is self-monitoring analysis reporting technology. And for example, if disk is gonna die soon, the HDD status will change from good to something else. Like there are bad sectors. For SSDs, there will be some other statuses, but nevertheless, the status will change. And if this computer is going to die in 1 month, trust me, we as IT people and people who support this, we would like to know this, especially if, for example, our president or board of the member of the board, they are flying to another country, to some conference. We don't want to solve these problems remotely when these VIP people in hotel. Yeah, so if we see that HDD is going to die, we say, please come to us. We will copy your files. We will give you a new notebook, and everybody's happy. So we don't have a call late evening. So which is also good. And we can detect a lot of stuff, like there is no antivirus. Well, then we can apply antivirus. We can enable disk encryption. And we can even detect free falls of computers. So if somebody is dropping computers like notebooks, this smart system detects this. And we can say to some employees, hey, can you please take care better about your computer because, counter is increasing each day. And it can also help desk, because imagine the situation when somebody reports, oh, I am all of a sudden out of the space. What we will do? Of course, we will search for files, especially or directories which are large, and we will do it manually. This will consume a lot of time of administrators and help desk people. But what we can do, if we detect that there is a small amount of free space on a computer, we will just install a small utility, for example, windirstat, and we can run it. And we can bring a message to user and say, hey, you have 5% of space left. You will be soon out of space. Can you please find where are the biggest files? So maybe you have some videos, maybe you have some music files. So can you please remove it? And user will do it himself. So with this way, we will again remove load on from IT people, and users can do on their own, even in the night. So they don't need to open a ticket. And as I mentioned, inside BigFix, there is a really cool remote control. Yeah, it allows to help desk people to have to record the session, because sometimes it's needed. We can record it for different purposes. For example, for training, we are solving a particular difficult problem. We solve it, And then if this problem appears again, we can say to some junior administrator, hey, I solved this last week. Can you take a look at the video and do the same? So again, this will reduce a load. And with BigFix control, we can just click on the computer and we will see the screen. Here we can create a lot of different shortcut combinations. We can draw on the screen of the user. For example, some people say, oh, don't do it, I want to do myself, but I don't know which icon should I click. So with the drawing tool, we can just create an arrow and say, hey, can you please run this new item? We can highlight something. We can open URL. So there is a lot of things that helps a real enterprise support. And on the bottom of the screen, you see this command prompt, control panel, and so on. We can also define some shortcuts to particular applications or passes. For example, we need to go to user profile. So to avoid going to my computers and C drives and users and so on, clicking and clicking again, we can just configure one item and it will be available for you. As I mentioned, we can do a lot of things, like we can do also chat, because sometimes it's important to run something and have a chat with user. We can also transfer files to him. For example, here it's like far, so on the left side it's local path and there is a remote path. So we can copy quickly files and maybe solve problem and close the case. And this chat is also quite cool. Concerning this session recording, we can do it, and we can connect several people to one session. For example, there is a complicated case, and we can say, okay, 5 guys, can you please join, because I have no clue what's happened with our president computers. And if somebody needs to leave, we can just pass and hand over this session to another person, and it will be, you can leave a session, go home, but people who stayed, they will continue solving this case. And in case you need to enter particular something confidential, like a password or something else, you can lock the screen of the user and just do what you need to do. Okay. And inside the BigFix, there is a unique feature that nobody else has. This feature is called Cyber Focus. On the left side, we see on the X ray, we see the name of the hacker groups, like a Frankenstein, APT37, Cobalt Group, and so on. And this chart shows us, so if this hackers group will attack your company, they will leverage CVE 2021, which is this olive color bar. So we can understand, we can drill down and understand on which servers we need to apply patches, so this vulnerability is no longer actual. So we can close this vulnerability. As soon as we patch all the servers, the chart will be automatically recreated, and we will see a next potential, let's say, vulnerability which hackers will use. In this case, on the right side, we see this purple CV 2020-1472, and this is a potential new vulnerability with which hackers will try to attack our company. The most important is to each of these vulnerabilities, cyber-focused team will prepare you a scenario how the hackers will work. For example, they can say, hackers will try to simulate your login page. Then they will send a phishing email. When somebody will click it and will enter a password, they will do this, they will do that. And if you know this scenario, like in movie, you can do something to mitigate these risks. Yeah, maybe you can send users instructions that please don't click. Or on anti-spam, you can increase threshold for phishing emails, so no phishing email reach your users. So it's really unique, and it helps a lot of security guys to understand what is the weakest, let's say, where they need to focus. There is also a dashboard with PLA. So all of us, we know SLA, which is service level agreement, and PLA is protection level agreement. So in this case, we see that there are 154 servers, but majority of issues are related to SQL and potentially to become a compliant, so we have no security holes, we will need particular amount of days. Yeah, so 20 or whatever days. So we can count how much time we need to fix all the infrastructure. There is also a compliance module inside BigFix. So I was describing a lot of modules, right? Like remote control, compliance, and so on. BigFix is a modular system. So you can install a server and then you can just enable features. So in this case, in compliance, we can remotely turn off the USB, so people are unable to copy data from our company. But if somebody will try to input, for example, some USB drive, we will see it on a server. So we are not only disabling USB, we also see that somebody tried to use it. Especially if people are leaving a company, they commonly try to copy some information. So we can come and say, hey, we saw that you tried to enter something in USB port. Well, maybe yes, I was charging my my iPhone, but on the right picture, on the right bottom corner, we see that user entered a Sun Cruiser USB drive. Yeah, so person was trying to really copy data. So the next thing he will try is to maybe copy data over internet, maybe encrypted. But in this case, if I would be a security officer, I would just lock him all access. But yeah, and I mentioned in previous slides that there was a web console, and there is one more Windows application which is really powerful, Windows console. There you can do much more. You can write your own scripts, you can do reporting, you can do a lot of stuff just to have just to get an understanding how it works. And BigFix also have a new module. So approximately 3 years ago, they introduced an MDM. MDM so far is, I would say, basic. Yeah, so we can provision email accounts, we can provision VPN tunnels, corporate Wi-Fi's, and for majority of customers, it's completely sufficient. Yeah, so it's cheap and it does what it needs to do. Also, BigFix can offer a self-service console where people can check their own rights. They can solve some particular problems. For example, person is unable to reach a network. So in this scenario, the self-service console will say, okay, I will try to maybe enable all adapters. Yeah, okay, maybe they solved the problem. So in many cases, people can solve the problems themselves. And from architecture point of view, it's quite simple. So we have one server with database, and we have a lot of endpoints. Yeah, so on the bottom of the screen. From HCL, we will receive a metadata about patches. So which patches are approved by BigFix. And in case we have users who are outside of our network, for example, they are working from home, in this scenario, we will need to put a proxy or relay in DMZ zone. In this case, if your users are traveling, if they are in hotel or at home, you still can control their computers. You still can do remote control. You can install software and so on and so on and so on. So inside BigFix, there is a script language called ActionScript, and you can create your own scripting. For example, you can try to write something. If computer is up for 2 months and was not restarted, so potentially, patches are not applied. So if it's Sunday morning, then, for example, do a reboot or something else. Yeah, so as I mentioned, BigFix is a modular system which covers a lot. And one thing that it's also for banks. There are more than 200 checks related to SIS, to PCI DSS, and so on and so on. BigFix can also manage ATMs, the cash machines. So we can do it. And there is a lot of different banks across the world who use this software. From aviation industry, Airbus, Boeing, Martin, Lockheed, these are the BigFix customers. And there are plenty of others which are, public cases of HCL. So, Motorola, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, this is what I know, UPS, Marriott, Disney, General Motors. So they all run on BigFix because the solution was on the market for more than 25 years, and it does what it needs to do. And of course, today everybody speaks about ChatGPT and about AI. So in this year, inside BigFix, there is a new module called Workspace Plus. Plus means exactly this AI, so artificial intelligence. And this AI was trained on 15 million servers for last 5 years to get, the data. For example, how it can help. For example, I am a Domino guy or a BigFix guy. If somebody says me, oh, there is Oracle server or Postgres server which consumes 100% CPU, I would never touch it. I would say, guys, you need to search somebody who knows Oracle or Postgres. If we have BigFix, BigFix can say, okay, can you please try and run this read-only command? Can you do this? Can you this? What do you see? And by running simple commands, we will be able, in majority of cases, to solve problem ourselves without inviting maybe expensive consultants. So, and it also not only for servers, for admins, but also for users. For example, user asks, I want to customize Outlook signature. The BigFix understands even which versions of Outlook exists. It says, oh, there is Outlook 10, there is Outlook 2013, 16, which one you need. And when user clicks the right one, the AI will draw exactly instructions how to do it. It will even highlight important things and imagine how much time it will save for your help desk. I think it's just amazing because users are asking the same things, and this, for example, instruction is generated under in less than 10 seconds. And if you are joining us live, can you please try to guess if there is a company with 100 computers, 2 monitors, how much money you need to pay for electricity if you don't turn them off during the year. So we will give you some maybe 5-10 seconds, and we will see if somebody will be correct one. Okay. So if computers will work 24/7, it will cost 24,000 euro. But if we enable with BigFix power saving, so BigFix can sleep computer in the evening, wake up in the morning. So all this power saving stuff can be controlled by BigFix. In this case, we will save almost 17,000 euro, which will be, let's say, sufficient to buy a BigFix for 100 computers, and maybe something else we can buy. And as I mentioned, there is a NIS regular. So here we can see how BigFix can help. For example, incident handling or business continuity. So on the left side, you see the requirement of NIS2 regular. And on the right side, you see how BigFix can help. And yeah, you can take a look later. We will send you a PDF of this presentation. And the summary is quite, I think, obvious. So the BigFix can do a lot, and it can save a lot of time for us with help desk issues, with software installation, with NIS and DORA compliance, with VIP user support. So for IT, we really save a lot of time. So all we need to do is just get trained, improve our skills. And I think there is no company where there are too much IT people. Yeah, so there is always a lack of skilled IT people. And if we can remove some boring work from our help desk and administrators, everybody will be happy. Once our first thing is our users will be happy, and our IT staff. And yeah, I think it's more or less almost end of the show. So the conclusion is that BigFix has rich OS support. So if you remember how many operating systems BigFix support, write it in the chat. And it has a corporate app store. It provides a lot of cool things like patching, software distribution, compliance for banks. But most important, it has also free training from HCL. So once per month, HCL does online training with instructor, and it's fully for free. So I really like it. So I think it's more or less all. So if we have, I don't see any questions in a chat, but I think this is what we have.
I have a question, Vladislav.
Go ahead.
I have a question. What do you think about all that noise about AI? Is it useful, for example, as an add-on for BigFix?
I think it's a good, yeah, because I use AI quite frequently, and it saves a lot of time. So I saw it on several conferences on BigFix how it works, and since this AI was trained on 15 million servers, this was a really good knowledge that HCL collected, and I think if we can get it for free. Or as a part of license, this is more correct word. So I think this will definitely help a lot of people.
Okay, we will look forward for maybe your practical expertise on some next our session with AI.
Okay, so we again thank you for coming. I think it was interesting for you to hear about BigFix, and we will get in touch. So we will send you tomorrow these slides.
Thank you, Vladislav. Thank you for your sharing and guiding us through the practical applications of BigFix.
Okay, thank you, Victor.
Continued success on your journey, and of course, many useful implementation on your customers.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Dear colleagues, if you think any questions after the webinar, please don't hesitate to reach out us. You can see our contacts on the first slide. Thank you again, and see you at future our events.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.